Hi. So today I'm going to talk about the famous book, The Secret, which I read about 6 or 7 years ago, and it's in line with this new age movement thing. Reading from it online, I saw that it started back in the 70s and the 80s, but the book was trending around the year 2018, 2019, and that's when I read it. So, for anyone who has not read the book, it basically describes how you can take control of your life, be a better person. It talks about getting rich as an easy way and as something that anybody can accomplish with a few processes here and there. There are things to follow, traditions, and all that. So, I was exploring my beliefs that time, coming from a Christian background. This theory really appealed to me that I could basically get rich without having to do anything, just by having a positive mindset or a money oriented kind of mindset. So I read the book, and the author talks about how she, I think it's she, uses things called vision boards, where you draw whatever you want to accomplish in your life and put it in a place where you see it every day, and it becomes a motivation, and your mind aligns with that goal. And the theory is that whatever your mind aligns to, that's what you get. If you align your mind with a mental illness, you'll get mentally ill. If you align yourself with sicknesses, you'll get sicknesses. If you align yourself with leadership and just being ahead in life, that's why you're going to get. So it sounded like a quick get rich quick scheme, and the author says that while she was still poor and suffering, she wrote a check of $1 million and placed it in her bedroom, and she would look at it every day, and she would work towards it, and finally it came true when her book sold. I don't remember how many copies, but she finally got her goal, and she wrote that book, The Secret, to follow. So, 7 years later, my opinion has changed a lot. I remember talking to a friend about this, and I was very motivated and I was happy. He had also read the book while he was in primary school, and he told me that there's no simple way to get rich or to get where you are other than hard work and all that. So I felt like he was a hater at that time. He didn't want people to know the secrets and all that. So I was pretty cross with him. But 7 years later, I have an overview of it, and I think my opinion has changed a lot. And I agree with him now. I don't think this thing works. And I guess at the beginning, things seemed to work, and they seemed to be very enjoyable because they were new. It was something new that I was getting to practice for the first time, and I remember like feeling like my prayers were being answered. It's a sort of new thing that you experience, like when you join a religion, even when you join Christianity for the first time. It feels like miracles are happening here and there. Messages are being sent all over by the angels and God and Jesus Himself. Yeah, it's a phenomenon that I have experienced, and which I had been a Christian for so long, I had lost that spark. So this felt something new. I remember going to buy things from I got into a lot of, like, I was researching a lot about this topic, and so many YouTube channels and articles online and all these methods. I found a guy who's a medical doctor, has a PhD in medicine, called Bruce Lipton, and he was talking about how you can heal yourself just by being uh, mentally positioning yourself as your body is healed. Basically, the explanation was that act like you already have what you have, like live life like you already have what you have. They call it, or they still call it, manifestation. I still hear some YouTubers mentioning that they manifested this and they manifested that. And yeah, I also wanted to manifest all these things. And there's a time I remember in my bank account, some amount of money came in from nowhere, and I thought my manifestation had worked, and somehow money had just appeared in my bank account. Just to check in later and realize there was nothing that was deposited into my account. It was just it was just a mistake. I saw nothing had really happened. I don't know why I thought money had come into my account. I was manifesting a relationship at that time. I can tell you for free, I haven't been in a relationship since that time. Never got into one, never got to manifest my relationship. I never got any money. I'm not richer than I was at that time. Perhaps I'm even worse off, I would say. And there was enlightenment. Like I would be able to understand myself better than anyone ever has, and that's the main purpose of life. I remember listening to Sadhguru, if you've heard of him or watched some of his videos. Alan Watts was also a major part of my journey. I was reading even the Freemasons text. There's a guy called Manly P. Hall who has a very long lecture on YouTube and a book on Freemasonry. I was researching Freemasonry at that time because that was that was part of the New Age movement. It's a blend of European culture and Eastern philosophies, those that things from Asia and Europe and Americas and all that. So I was researching on all that kind of stuff, and it all made sense. I went to I don't remember what it's called, but it's a kind of a relaxation place where they say there are four elements on this earth. There's fire, there's water, there's earth, there's all that, and they get you into a room where you relax in a pool of salty water. I remember it was so heavy water that I was sleeping on the water and couldn't sink. And I would stay there for an hour and think and pay some crazy amount like $50 or so. A friend took me there. I really enjoyed the experience, and I found someone there who was so amazed by the revelations of this place. He could just not imagine that he could see and feel the things he was feeling at that time. So that was my experience at that time. It was new, it was fun, it was good, it was great, it was everything I had ever wished for. I bought bracelets to keep me from harm. They were black bracelets, and I remember I went to an Indian shop at that time, and they would circle. There's a ball that they would tap and make a certain sound, and then she would tell me that it's being purified or something like that, and then the bracelet would be wrapped around in that ball, and then it would be pure and it would protect me from every evil. And that I bought the bracelet. I thought that would help. There were dream catchers. There was incense. I remember buying all types of incense with different names. They're supposed to cleanse the house and all that kind of stuff. So one of the last few things I did was I explored horoscopes. Things the For those not familiar with horoscopes, basically they explain positions of the moon. Basically, when you're born, if you're born between certain dates, then you have characteristics that define you. Like if you go online on an astrology website, you will find that you can just key in your date of birth and your year of birth, and they will give you a whole essay about what you are like and your goals and your ambitions and how your future will play out and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it seemed miraculous at that time. I clicked in my name and I put in my year of birth and my date of birth, and they gave me a whole list of who I am, my strengths, my weaknesses, and all that. And I could relate to it. I would say I felt like 90% of it was true, but I guess it's a bias. I think after looking at it carefully, after looking at all other people's summary essay on who they are and their dreams and their futures and all that, I sensed a lot of similarities. I felt like if I had given out a different date and year, I could have gotten a result that I would still identify it with like a 90% accuracy and all that. So yeah. So I believed it. I believed it. I remember sharing it with some of my friends. They might have thought I was weird and started to be into horoscopes and all that kind of stuff. That stuff, in Christian sense, is not godly at all and all that kind of stuff. So I did explore all these things. I just fell short of exploring Satanism. I didn't think uh, worshipping Satan would be a good thing. Even if I was not a Christian, it just doesn't make sense to worship Satan or anything. Uh, I believed, I just scrapped my entire belief. I stopped believing in heaven and hell. There was also this philosophy by Bruce Lipton also. That guy who has a book. He has a book and a lecture, 2.5 hour lecture on YouTube, which I watched several times. It's called The Biology of Belief. He explains how your beliefs are biologically motivated and how they're affected by your genes and how you can be how you can live forever and all that kind of stuff. So I I remember I finally decided to visit a psychic. That was in the middle of my exploration, and I remember feeling very wise and very smart at that time. I was giving people advice. I was writing quotes. I was writing messages from God. God literally was speaking to me and giving messages which I posted into websites, and I put in some codes that people had to get into view them. I don't think anyone viewed any of the messages because I never gave out the codes that were needed to access the message. But I thought there were special messages from God and from the Holy Spirit that needed to be known by the entire world. And as well, sometimes when I hear the preachings of people making prophecies and all that, especially those about the end of times and the coming of the end of the world, the apocalypse, I'm like, these people are probably hallucinating as much as I was at that time. I had not even gotten so deep into marijuana usage, but I was hallucinating seriously, and the religious hallucinations were a lot. So I felt very smart. I remember giving someone advice that you need to be like a machine and all that kind of stuff. They were asking me, they're telling me that I'm hurting their feelings. I'm like, you need to be like a machine. Because that's what Bruce Lipton had taught me in his book, The Biology of Belief. And yeah, I believed I was very smart. I remember God talking to me. I remember God showing me that once people die, they become planets. So if I died, I would become something like Venus or Mars or anything. Then your relatives becomes your sister planets. Like maybe my brother will become Venus when I become Mars, and my dad will become Jupiter, and my mother Saturn. And then there was also uh, the other extended members of the family would maybe become the other stars in other galaxies. Then friends would be here, and then we would together be interacting as a whole group after death. And I remember saying, now that you have shown me, God, what is to come and how what happens after death. It's time to take me now to go with you. And I remember clearly the voice of God telling me, not yet. And I held to that statement for a very long time, believing that that's what God had told me, that God told me not yet. And by not yet, he meant that I still had work to accomplish in this world. So I went on to a long journey of trying. I changed from, I was a photographer on Instagram, and I changed from posting photography to posting the messages I was receiving from God. I had a very big a notebook where I used to write, not an actual notebook on the phone, or an actual physical notebook, but a notebook on my phone and my laptop. And I used to write all these messages from God, and I would post them. I would look for the most beautiful font and styling so that my page would look great and all that. And I changed how I used to do my photography and all that. I was feeling great, and I was feeling very empowered, and I was feeling like the art is just uh, mine. I felt very great. And the secret and the message behind the New Age movement, which was exemplified by Bruce Lipton, the guy I'm talking about, says that you can create heaven on earth. And I believe that that was what I was creating by all my actions. I remember like just switching up everything. The lighting in my room. I bought books that I never read. I bought facials. I remember I bought some illusional, what do you call it? Like hypnotic pillows and all that. I decorated my room with so much of this stuff because I believed I was creating my heaven on earth, and I believed it was real that I would accomplish heaven on earth, and I don't need to worry about Jesus and God and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that was the peak of it all, and I don't know how to explain it better than that. Thank you for joining me.